Welcome to episode 265 of the Tune One. Today, me and Wade are going over who will have the better NFL career, Justin Herbert or Joe Burrow. We just did a video on this about Tua Tagovailoa and Jalen Hurts. Now we are on to the two pocket passers of the rookie 2020 NFL rookie quarterback draft class, and we're looking at who had the better career. Wade, who do you think right off the top of your head?
Right off the top of my head, current situations, I'm going to say Justin Herbert.
Yeah.
Just because he's been able to do okay with the current situation he is in. Neither of them are in a very good situation, but I think the Chargers are a few drafts away from being good. They were pretty good this year, very competitive in majority of their games. The Bengals, however, are all around. I think their organization is not in a very good place right now. I think they're going to take a while to be good. I mean, we just did a video on this yesterday. The Bengals need a few drafts to be able to put a good supporting cast around Joe Burrow. I think he needs an offensive line that's top priority, and then he needs weapons. Justin Herbert has a few decent weapons. His O-line is not very good. I think if they get that solidified, though, that offense is going to be really good, and then they just need to fix the defense, which shouldn't take too much longer.
Yeah, for sure. The video we did yesterday really said Joe Burrow has the talent to take the Bengals to the next level and give them potential, but the Bengals' history of that organization has just shown they can't really put together a serious team that you worry about being a Super Bowl contender. However, on the Chargers, on the other hand, in the past, over Philip Rivers' 16, 17-year career, there's been several years where we're like, oh, Philip Rivers and the Chargers this year are very dangerous. They can make a playoff run. They can make a Super Bowl run. They could take down Tom Brady, Peyton Manning, whoever might be in their way. However, it's always been Philip Rivers who's holding back. He always chokes in big games, never performs well in the playoffs, throws an interception or two, never capitalizes when the chance is there. And really, Justin Herbert could be the exact thing that changes them. So I do think the Chargers management had just shown over the past recent 20 years that they can put together a better squad over the Bengals. Yes, the Bengals have put together a few good teams with Carson Palmer and Andy Dalton, but I don't think any of us really thought they're going to the Super Bowl by any means, like we've seen with Philip Rivers and the Chargers. Not to compare the two team past, we're worried about Joe Burrow and Justin Herbert. I think me and Wade would agree the talent of these two rookies are neck and neck. You can't go wrong with the quarterbacks themselves. If Joe Burrow never got hurt, this Rookie of the Year race would be awesome to see who would come out as a winner. Right now, it's pretty much a landslide between Justin Herbert and Justin Jefferson. There's no other quarterback even really competing for it. But like Wade said, Joe Burrow's got him and himself. He's got, yes, T. Higgins and Tyler Boyd, but outside of those three guys, Justin Herbert, on the other hand, has himself, Keenan Allen, Mike Williams, Hunter Henry, Austin Eckler, Justin Jackson, and then the defense, when it's healthy, is one of the best in the league between Derwin James, Casey Hayward, Chris Harris Jr., Joey Bosa, Melvin Ingram. That is a stacked team that's really the only reason they haven't been in the playoffs this year in Justin Herbert's rookie year is because of injuries, their kicker, and their coach, and all three of those things will be addressed. Hopefully they'll be healthy next year. Hopefully they get a new kicker. They've had 5 games where they just lost huge leads between the Chiefs, Saints, Buccaneers, Broncos. Those are 4 games that if they just had the right kicker to put a field goal and to prevent the game from going into overtime and just seal the win, they would go from a 7-9 team to a 10-6, 11-5, 9-7 team that would be right on the brink of the playoffs. Next year, you change those 2 things, plus a better head coach outside of Anthony Lynn, and I think the future is bright for Justin Herbert and the Chargers. I think Joe Burrow has potential to turn the Bengals around, but as of right now, I think Justin Herbert is in a much better place than Joe Burrow for a Super Bowl run if we're comparing their careers.
You mentioned how Joe Burrow has just about himself, and that's very true. You saw when he was with the Bengals, they could compete against some good teams, but the second he got hurt, I never really even thought about them. I mean, they beat the Steelers, but I don't know. I genuinely think that Joe Burrow might have a little bit more talent than Justin Herbert, but the situation he is in right now is just shitty all around, I think. You mentioned yesterday that the Bengals have a history of not drafting very well, so hopefully they can figure that out and get him the help he needs. I'd love to see these two teams be 2 of the next top dogs, the contenders, because both the quarterbacks have talent, and I think that they have the ability to do it if they're surrounded with the right people.
Yeah, this 2021 NFL offseason is really going to be a big factor for both teams in their long-term future. I know these players are probably going to go on to play 15 years, and this is only one offseason, but still, your best chance to win a Super Bowl is when your rookie is cheap and he's on a 5-year contract and he's not ready for that $40 million year. So when he's cheap, you can surround him with weapons. And the Chargers, they're ready to go with the weapons they got. They're just waiting on a coach and some health issues. The Bengals, on the other hand, yes, they have potential to have a number 5 pick. They could get Penei Sewell, give Joe Burrow the protection he needs. But you need a lot more than that. I think you need about 3 or 4 first-round picks for the Bengals to be a serious playoff team, especially in the division he's in with the Bengals, Steelers, Ravens, and Browns. Those other 3 teams are all playoff teams. Yes, Justin Herbert has to deal with Patrick Mahomes. The other 2 teams in that division, the Broncos are nothing to worry about, and the Raiders are so inconsistent, you can't really rely on them to be a real threat either. I think the Bengals are just in a tough spot. They're keeping their head coach. I think it's good that they're giving him another shot. That's a better sign for the Bengals to trust their coaching staff rather than the Chargers to fire their head coach, Anthony Lynn. So that is some pro there, but doesn't mean he's the right guy for the next 10 to 15 years. And really, an underlying factor that we mentioned at the end of yesterday's video is that we just assume Joe Burrow's going to be healthy and completely the same dude after this bad knee injury. I think he'll be completely fine, but it's still definitely a risk to consider, and anything is possible coming off that awful knee injury.
Yeah, you mentioned how they fired Anthony Lynn. I think that who they pick up as their head coach is going to have a huge factor in this whole discussion as well. I think if they get a very offensive-minded guy that can help, I mean, Justin Herbert's got the talent. If they get a guy that knows how to put together a good offense around a quarterback like him, then he will thrive.
Yeah.
But it all depends on who they pick up, who the people are. I mean, if they get somebody like Dan Mullen, who's very offensive-minded, and I've heard he's been in the talks about coming to the NFL, then I think he would do amazing.
Yeah.
But there's always that chance that they get a quarterback or they get a coach that isn't what they're looking for. Who knows?
Yeah, really anything that is an upgrade from Anthony Lynn, which I don't want to say is not hard to do, but the dude got fired. So clearly if you have a coach that can at least keep his job, he's going to be an upgrade, can take the Chargers to a playoff team. Like I said, even if they have a similar year with battling injuries, you have the right kicker and a right coach. They go from 7-9, 10-6, and have a wild card berth. I think this Chargers team is ready to win now. This 2021 offseason is going to be interesting for both teams. I definitely think the Chargers have a brighter future than the Bengals. Bengals have a great potential, but their history does not show that they reach up to the potential that they have.
Like I said in the last video with Jalen and Tua, both these guys have tons of talent and cannot wait to see what they have in store in the future.
Sounds good. 2 minutes.